In this video, I'd like to discuss the different types of selectors that we can use with our style sheets. The first type of selector that we have is an element selector. So that means that if I wanted to select all of the paragraph elements on my page, I can just put in a P like that and then open up a set of rules here. And let's say I wanted them all to be red, have text of a color red. So if I do that, and then we actually create some paragraph tags on our page. So I'll do P times 3 to get 3 paragraph tags. And then I'm just going to put some placeholder text inside there. So we'll do lorem, lorem, lorem. And there we go. If I do, there we go. I wanted to get some placeholder here. It didn't help me out as much as I'd like. Okay, there we go. So I've got 3 P tags with a bunch of placeholder text. And if we go to the browser to see what that looks like, then of course our text is in red for all of those 3 paragraphs. Okay. Another thing that we can do is we can give our elements a specific class. So let's say that I wanted particular paragraphs to have a color of green. So let's say I'm going to create a green class here, and that's what this little dot means. It means that I'm selecting all elements that have a class of green. And I'm going to give them a color of green. Okay. Now if we want to apply this, say, to the second paragraph, all I need to do is add an extra attribute here to my P tag. I'm going to say the class is green. And we'll save both of these, and let's take a look at what we have in the browser. And there we go. The second paragraph has now turned green. Okay. The third way that we can apply a style is by using something called an ID. And an ID is very specific. An ID means that we are targeting a specific element on the page. So each ID should be unique. Let's say that I wanted to have, I'm going to create an ID here in my style sheet called final paragraph. Okay? And our final paragraph is going to have some special things associated with it. So maybe I could increase the size of the font. So I just say font size. I'm going to set that equal to 24 pixels, just so it's pretty obvious that we know that we've selected it. And I'm also going to make it bold as well. So we'll say font weight and set that to bold. Okay. Now if I want to apply this in my style sheet, all I need to do is for this third paragraph here, I can give it an ID of final paragraph. And we'll see here that our final paragraph is much bigger and it is in bold. So we have successfully selected it and applied some styles to it. You'll typically not want to be using IDs when you're styling things for most cases. IDs tend to be very specific and they make it a little bit difficult to override styles if you need to override them later on in your style sheet. So typically you're going to be using classes to style things. Doesn't mean that you'll never use IDs, but mostly we'll be using classes for our styling.